Hey, welcome to MULLEN Stock. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. And also remember that this is not a financial advice video. So today, I'll talk about two topics. First, I want to discuss MULLEN, and second, buybacks. I want to tell you where MULLEN stands with these two things and what you should know, perhaps before taking the next step. Let's start with deliveries. According to news on September 28th, MULLEN Automotive has initiated deliveries of Class 3 EVs. In simpler terms, the company has started delivering its first 10 Class 3 EV cab chassis trucks, and an invoice of approximately $630,000 will be generated for them. So this is good revenue indeed. Here's what's going to happen in the upcoming days. MULLEN will deliver all their vehicles to Randy Marion, and after the delivery, Randy Marion will make the payment. However, this time, these 10 Class 3 vehicles are going to the same customer. So MULLEN has completely ignored Randy Marion and is delivering directly to the customer. Therefore, MULLEN will now deliver the vehicles to MGT. I believe they are doing this because it will count in their quarterly earnings. Today is the deadline, and technically, this is the last day for MULLEN earnings for Q4, as well as for their overall 2023 earnings. This $630,000 in revenue will look good on their balance sheet, if not anything else. Furthermore, I estimate that this total will be approximately $800,000, with $630,000 coming from M3, and maybe the rest coming from pilot program vehicles, such as M1 purchased by the New York Power Authority and British Airways, and some other MULLEN Go vehicles that were purchased. Technically, everything will be included in this, and the share coming from M3 will be a significant portion. Hence, they might be saying that the delivery has been made so that it counts in their quarterly earnings, similar to what they did in March. What are your thoughts on this in the comments? Do you believe that $630,000 is sufficient, or do you think it's a bit low? What's your take on this? Now, let's move on to the next hot topic, the buyback. Many people are speculating when MULLEN will buy back the remaining part of the program, as they originally initiated a full $25 million buyback program. According to the latest news mentioned earlier, it seems that as of September 27th, they'd purchased approximately $5.6 billion worth of stocks in just 2 days, on August 16th and 17th. So they've done quite well, with roughly $19.3 million remaining. Many are speculating when MULLEN will execute this, and Sammy suggests it might happen after the NASDAQ extension. They say it could be next week, but I have a slightly different perspective on this. I believe it might occur in the later part. This is most likely going to happen in the third week of October because, from what I've heard, after the hearing, there is usually a deliberation period of about 2 weeks with the hearing panel. So when the actual hearing date is set, it's apparent that it could fall on any date between October 5th and 20th. As soon as this happens, we'll notify MULLEN and the investors approximately 2 weeks later. Again, this is speculative, so whoever is looking to find out next week, I don't think that's realistic. However, I do believe that MULLEN, after NASDAQ actual decision, will buy back the remaining shares. Because the most likely scenario is that I could be wrong, but typically the next step after the hearing is that NASDAQ will grant MULLEN a 180-day extension. Whatever happens, this will be their final notice that they intend to achieve a $1 compliance, and they will declare a specific date for it. Then, they'll either have to do it through a reverse stock split, which I know some people may not like, but it's one possible way, or they will naturally get there. So this person Sammy thinks that they are on the right track at least as to when the buyback can begin. It's mentioned that they only needed to increase the value of their stock, and some people feel that the real purpose of a buyback isn't to boost the stock price. I disagree with that. The real purpose of a buyback is indeed to increase the stock price, but not through manipulative means. Rather, the real goal is to enhance the stock price because, when it comes to NASDAQ, they see companies that are using programs to boost their stock price, and one of these programs is a buyback, and the other is a reverse stock split. Both programs actually increase the stock price. So yes, if we look at it in one way, the buyback is for increasing the stock price. Again, I'm not saying this in any manipulative way, but I believe that MULLEN is using the extension notice and waiting to kickstart the remaining $19.3 million or whatever it is. So they might rely on the revenue from that buyback, and hopefully, substantial revenue will come in. This is where the stock price should naturally rise. Before circling back to Hot Topic, I'd like to mention something about deliveries. David had mentioned it, but you should take it with a grain of salt because initially they had forecasted 900 and 30 M3 and 660 M1. But according to the last corporate update, they only mentioned 150 units for M3, and there was no update for M1. So, what should I think about this? Projections for M1 in 2024 are 11,000 units, and 3,000 units for M3. According to the information available as of this date, the production capacity of the Tunica facility is currently at 3,000 Class 3 vehicles per shift. However, it seems that there is a possibility of either expanding the shift or introducing a second shift, which could potentially take effect in December or January, especially based on the hiring of additional staff. However, there has been no update regarding M1 at this time. So my question to you is, do you think that with the revenue expected from M3 and the revenue in 2023 and 2024, a buyback to exceed the $1 threshold would be sufficient whenever the deadline for NASDAQ extension arrives? Because when the extension deadline comes, they will need to trade above $1 for 10 to 20 consecutive days, as I have discussed previously. Guys, that's all we have for you today. What is your opinion about Mullen stock? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.